Step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning into your edge of financial freedom. Today, I've got two headlines. We saw something big happening in crypto over the weekend, and we're definitely going to touch on that with that giant OM price drop from $7 to about 45 cents. And we will also touch on the tariff pause that we're seeing on some electronics. So let's dive on in and get you prepped for some success today with that stock heat map. We are seeing a little bit of green in the pre-market this morning. So we got Apple sitting up a 4.06 from its close on Friday, looking up a 4.84 in the pre-market this morning. We've got Nvidia sitting up 3.12, looking up 1.83 in the pre-market so far. Got Berkshire Hathaway looking up 1.61 from its close, up 0.88 in the morning. We've got Amazon up 2.01, also looking up in the morning, 1.49. We got Eli Lilly up 1.6, and continuing on that buying trend this morning, up 1.58. Got ExxonMobil also sitting in the green, up 3.21 from its close, looking up 1.68 this morning in the pre-market. We've got Tesla sitting down 0.04, looking up 1.08 in the pre-market. It is going to benefit from some of that tariff pause on electronics. We got P&G sitting up at 2.05 in the pre-market, looking up 0.52. We've got Microsoft sitting up at 1.86, looking up 0.81 in the pre-market so far. Got Google sitting up at 2.59, looking up a full percent in the pre-market. And we've got Meta sitting down 0.5 from its close, looking up 1.57. Let's hop over to the crypto side of things, because we got a very, very big bubble that we're definitely going to have to discuss. It's overpowering all the rest of the bubbles right now. But for right now, things are looking a little bit red on that daily. We do have some outliers like Ethereum up 0.07. We've got Bitcoin sitting down 0.02. We've got XRP down 2.4. BNB down 0.04. We've got Solana, also one of those outliers, up 2.1. We've got Tron, that other outlier, up 3.7. We've got Doge sitting down at 1.4. Cardano down at 1.8. We've got Leo token remaining pretty stable as a exchange token, down 0.1. We've got Avalanche down 0.2. Chainlink down 1.6. We've got Stellar Lumens down 0.8. SWI down 2%. We've got Shiba Inu down 1.1. HBAR down 3%. TON sitting down 2%. We've got Bitcoin Cash down 1.3. And Litecoin taking back that top 20 spot from OM, because OM has dropped 65 positions and is now number 85. Litecoin sitting down 1.8%. That fear and greed meter looking a little bit to the upside. We've got the stock side looking back at 18, up 6 points off of a very green close on Friday. We do have the crypto side down 14 points, still sitting in fear, but out of extreme fear. So doing a little bit better than the stocks. We are used to more volatility here in crypto though, so those big dips don't scare us as much. For the liquidation heat map on the 24-hour, we've got a lot of liquidity right above us. We got some at 85,648. That's that real hot spot on the daily. You do have a little bit of a light zone to the bottom side of us at about 82,900, and it ranges all the way down to 82,600. So that's a light area of liquidity to the bottom side. We do have that 3-day also looking quite similar, with a lot of the liquidity residing to the top side. We don't have any heavy data for today, so an easy move for these market makers to go grab, starting at 86,000, ranging all the way up to that 86, almost 700 there. Zoom this on out. Take a look at that 2-week. We do have a bit of liquidity to the top side there as well. Going to be that range at 86,100, almost 86,200 there, ranging all the way up to 86,700. So a lot of these charts are looking very similar on where that liquidity is residing. So a very easy move for these market makers to go grab. We're going to have to zoom this out to the 3-month to really see any of this bottom side liquidity, and it's starting to disappear just a little bit, meaning that looks like some people closed out some longs as we got close to these bottoming points. We still do have about $50 million residing at 64 to 35, but these hotspots have been getting a little bit lighter as people have been trying to reposition themselves. So just something to keep in mind there. Let's hop over to that economic calendar, and then we'll say hello to the chats this morning. Let's scroll it on up. I was looking to see what's coming for the rest of the day, and we don't really have any heavy data coming out for the U.S. We do have some bill auctions coming out at 11:30. That'll be Eastern time. We have a few Fed speaking, Fed Barkin, Fed Waller, and Fed Harker. That will be at noon, 1, and 6 p.m. Eastern time. We also have Fed Bostic speaking at 7:40 Eastern time. So few things to keep your eye out for today. A little bit of a Fed speech that'll give you some clarity on what they're believing with a lot of these tariffs that have been announced and then paused and then redoubled down on China, and then a little bit of a pause here. We'll kind of break some of that down here in a little bit. We do have some data coming out on Tuesday, though, that I will be keeping my eye on. We have import-export prices coming out of the U.S. We also have inflation rate data coming out of Canada. They are also ahead of us in our rate-cutting cycle, just like the U.K. has been, and that's something I've been watching. The U.K. finally heading back in the right direction, so maybe after a little heating up on some of our data, we might start heading back in the right direction, just like Canada and the UK have. We'll take a little bit of some maneuvering to get that done, though. We'll have a few more Fed speeches on Tuesday as well. You know, there's been a lot happening, so there's a lot to talk about for them. We do have in mainland China tomorrow GDP data. That'll be GDP growth rate quarter over quarter and year over year, industrial production year over year, and retail sales year over year. This is going to be a big market mover for the beginning of the week, and we'll kind of have to see how people position themselves from that, especially with the trade war going on between the U.S. and China. That will be for tomorrow, though. We will touch a little heavier on that then. I do see Joel Vasquez in the chat. Good morning to you, sir. Hope you're having a great day so far. Let me get this link shared out. I see we got 7 lurkers this morning. So good morning to you all. Hope you're having a great day. Gotta share this out in the chats. Make sure some people join us for the morning. I always forget to do that before the show. We got this. Got that shared out. All right. Hopefully a few more people join us in the morning and we can get some alt requests. If you have any alt requests to Joel Vasquez or any of the lurkers, go ahead and drop those in the chat for me. I will get to those after the news. We've got Bitcoin making a little bit of some ranging action. It did get a nice move over the weekend. Did catch a little bit of a trade this weekend, you know, had an area I was watching that was at 83,500, which was the topping action from back here. We got a little bit of a bounce off of it here, came back below it, and then moved back up. Got that solid move off of it, and that's where I really caught the long this weekend. And then I kind of just relaxed the rest of the weekend, made a little bit of money, and then watched the ranging action. Arsan246 saying, good morning, new time again. Yes, sir. I am working an hour out of town, so I had to push my whole schedule back an hour. It is been a little bit painful for me. I'm not a big fan of having to drive a whole hour to get to work, but they pay me for that drive, so that makes it just a little bit better. But hopefully I can get moved back into town here soon where they got some more CDL work for me, and then we can go back to my normal time, because 4:30 in the morning is kind of early for me. I'm still not even awake, and I wake up at like 3:30, so yeah, this is a little bit rough. So we got Bitcoin still doing that ranging action, staying below that 85 at 251, looking to try to hold this area 83,500 as some support here. You can see lots of buying action sitting above that line that was our highs from this candle back here. I really drew that sideways, looking to kind of hold that and move back above 85 to 51. We do have all of that liquidity that is residing below our 382 here on our fib retracement. So a nice little area to turn into some support and continue that push to the upside. Your daily still has a lot of sell pressure here on our prime oscillator, looking for that volume to continue to stay green as our prime oscillator has just switched from light red to green here. So if we can continue with that money flow coming on in and see that switch from selling pressure to buying pressure as our volume continues to increase here, would be a nice move to see us grab that top side liquidity on. You are seeing a little bit of a slowdown here on the MACD for that momentum, getting a little bit of some sideways action here. Still got that indicator line pushing to the upside. We're still printing some nice green candles here on the daily, so just waiting on that money flow to kind of continue on from these lower turn time frames and push over into that daily to get that strong push to the upside. We do have that 382 being that strong resistance zone, because that's where all of that top side liquidity really tops out at. You do have this 4 hour looking for a bit of a cool off here, as we do see very, very strong buying volume on this 4 hour. You do see your money flow trying to make that move from selling pressure to buying pressure. True 7 trying to cool off here as it's waiting on that clipping action on the 4 hour. Got your prime oscillator getting a little bit of a rollover as it is sitting quite red here, printing some small red candles here on our MACD, and you've got your MACD line and indicator line moving quite sideways together, so could see a very quick switch back to the upside here. If you do see this money flow switch from selling volume to some buying, and that true 7 clipping out there, might see a little bit of some sideways movement here as we try to cool that off just a little bit more. Looking at that 1 hour, you do see us being a little bit toppy here. You have that MACD pointing back down towards that indicator line, still printing some nice green candles here. Got your money flow getting a little bit of a bounce off of that 0 line, and your volume staying in some light green here. Just went from red to some light red to some light green, so looking to try to maintain some of this buying volume in here in the range to try to hold up price at that 83,500 range. That's that real area I'm looking for to hold. If we don't, we've got some very, very strong support back here at 81,279. That's the top side of our old CME gap. There's that 50% line on our fib retracement that is residing a couple $100 below that as well, which is very strong support too. 1 hour looking like it needs a slight cool off here on these oscillators before you really see that money flow starting to pick back up here. Let's zoom that on in to the 15-minute, see what we're looking at here. You do see that MACD line getting that break below our indicator line with some red candles printing on our histogram for the MACD. Looking for a little bit more cool off here. You have a hidden divergence, which is waiting to play out here as your money flow is rolling over and your volume is rolling over as well. Trying to see if we can get that buying volume and buying pressure to come back in here at that 83,571. We've got a lot of play off of this action this weekend. That was a nice strong spot to hold as some support there. As I was saying though, if we do not hold that as some support, we do have that top side of the CME gap, which would really hold us up and push that buying pressure back in with some strength. So that'd be that real higher term time frame cool off that would allow that money flow from our short term time frame like the 15-minute and the 1 hour to really bleed over into that 4 hour. That 4 hour was waiting to switch from red to green on money flow. We got Jesus Barack saying hello from Columbia, SA. Good morning to you, sir. And we have Duality C in here as well. Good morning to you. And I see JB in the chats as well. Good morning to you, sir. Hope you're having a great day so far. Let's hop into this first news article I had, and then we'll hop into the OM. And then if anyone has any alt requests they'd like me to take a look at, go ahead, drop those in the chat for me. We got NASDAQ futures pop at 2% as Trump says tech from China is subject to 20% tariff for now, which is a massive decrease from that 145% that he was originally talking about. So they're still going to be hit with a tariff, but it's a tariff pause from that 145%, which is kind of needed as they do produce a bunch of our electronic goods for things that are made in America. So NASDAQ futures contracts tied to the NASDAQ Composite Index were trading higher as much as 2% in the pre-market Monday, with gutsy investors snapping up technology names that survived a wild week. Futures of the S&P 500 and Dow Jones were also up 1.2% and 0.6% respectively. It's looking like another volatile cash session after the tariff shockwave is about to ripple across the U.S. equity market. As in tradition, the biggest action is likely to be in the tech sector. The corner that one day looks like a bargain, but then turns into a dumpster fire. Tech will still get tariffs. The latest move was inspired by the man himself. Donald Trump took to his platform on Truth Social to respond to weekend news, which said that technology and electronics imported from China will be exempt from the crushing 145% tariff rate. There was no tariff exception, Trump said in a social media post on Sunday. These products are subject to the existing 20% fentanyl tariffs, and they are just moving to a different tariff bucket. He added that the U.S. will not be held hostage by other countries, especially hostile trading nations like China. What about planning CapEx? And just when you thought that Apple and other tech titans who import their products from China are off the hook, this happened. More confusion came from Treasury Secretary Howard Lutnick, who said on Sunday that tariff exemptions on devices like computers and smartphones are temporary and new duties will come in a month or two. All of these products are going to come under semiconductors, and they're going to have a special focus type tariff to make sure that these products get reshored. We need to have semiconductors, we need to have chips, and we need to have flat panels. We need to have these things made in America. So much for planning the quarterly capital expenditures. And this is some big news for now. Over the next month or two, we will start seeing if these tariffs remain at that 20%, as we do import a lot of the goods that you need to make your finished product from China. As he said, they fall under the superconductors for now. Later, that might not be the case. So that's why a lot of these traders have been snapping it up for the short term, buying up the NASDAQ, buying up some of these tech companies that have been really beaten down. Elon will get a nice little break on those tariffs as well, only being hit with that 20% instead of 145% for goods to manufacture his cars in the United States. I'll give a little reprieve for companies like Tesla and Apple. Also going to see Amazon benefit very greatly from this. You will see Microsoft benefit from it as well, Intel, all of these companies that import these highly specific electronic goods to make their goods in America will get a little bit of a reprieve. And then we'll see that readjustment happen. They want to force a lot of these goods to be made here in America again. And you did see the CHIPS Act from Joe Biden, which already paid Intel billions of dollars, and they've started to build a plant in Texas. So you might see some of that coming to play as well over the next year. Let's hop over to that other news article because, we did see a big move on the crypto side of things, and that was OM, or Mantra. Here's how crypto traders lost $400 million with Mantra massive price crash. While the rest of the crypto markets witnessed significant recovery, Mantra price crashed, leaving traders with massive casualties. Within a few hours, the popular altcoin crashed nearly 90%, leaving holders with losses. Although the issues have been identified, the downfall remains, leaving a group of investors with $400 million in loss and many others. Mantra price crash pushed crypto traders into $400 million loss. Amid the crypto market's high volatility due to the US-China war, the Mantra price crash left investors with massive losses. This includes a group of 19 fresh crypto wallets or traders who moved 14.27 million OM, equivalent to 91 million, just 3 days before the crash. Spotchain X Post revealed that these investors have scooped up a massive OM tokens holding from Binance just 3 days ago. Now, with the OM price crashing, the remaining 69.8 million OM are worth only 62.2 million, leaving them with a staggering $406.3 million loss. Interestingly, crypto experts also anticipate that these investors could have contributed to the crash. Forced liquidations led to Mantra's price crash. The Mantra price crash has resulted in wiping out nearly $6 billion from the crypto market. Crypto experts like Star Platinum have compared it to the Luna crash, which affected the entire market. In detailed analysis, Star Platinum revealed that crypto whales failed Mantra's airdrop and investors' panic resulted in the crash. This might be a disaster level of Luna, he says. Over 6 billion extracted from crypto in just 30 minutes. Here's everything going on with OM and the red flags investors ignored. The Mantra co-founder John Patrick Mullen and team clarified that forced liquidations from OM crypto investors on centralized exchanges resulted in the crash. More importantly, he clarified that the team was not behind the crash. To be clear, This dislocation was not caused by the team, the Mantra Chain Association, its core advisors, or Mantra's investors selling tokens. Tokens remain locked and subject to published vesting periods. OM's tokenomics remain intact as shares last week in our latest token report. Our token wallet addresses are online and visible. A look on-chain post also brought clarity to this situation, revealing that 17 crypto traders deposited nearly 4.5% of OM's circulating supply, equivalent to 227 million, participating in the crash. At the time of writing, OM's price is still down, trading at 80 cents with a market capitalization of 764.45 million. Investors are now eyeing experts' mantra price predictions to witness recovery. That's something we've seen over and over and over again in the crypto space. These altcoins are not as good as Bitcoin. They are subject to massive manipulation. And I would think that people would start learning their lessons, but apparently not. And you see massive price decreases over and over and over again with volatility that is quite different than Bitcoin's. Anyone that caught that short, though, congratulations. That was quite the move to the downside. I know that was talked about in the Piper Academy Discord. And if you're not over there, you probably should be, because we were on top of that move to the downside. We were talking about that this weekend. Let me drop that link in the chat for you so you can join us there and have a lot of fun. Stay on top of the information. We have been taking a look at gold over and over and over again. We got gold getting that strong bounce from 3,187. That was that price point I had really talked about. And we got that strong move to the upside from it. We're now back above the one line here on our fib extension and looking to try to hold that as support. We do see a little bit of some cool off happening here on our oscillators, as your prime oscillator is sitting heavily red, getting that move to the downside as we've been arranging sideways on top of that one line. Money flows very strong in the green. Your volume has slowed down quite a bit here, so to see some continued cool off, maybe a retest of our platinum pocket. If we're unable to maintain that 3,187 all over again, would be something to watch for, especially with how the downturn on the MACD and the prime oscillator looks like you might see some selling pressure after that volume has decreased quite massively. That 4 hour also looking like you're seeing that rollover as well. MACD has not yet crossed that indicator line to the downside, but you're seeing very light green candles on our histogram here as that prime oscillator switch from green to red. And you've got a bit of a divergence stacked up, waiting for that money flow to kind of cool down just a little bit as this volume has rolled over here as well. Looking for that bounce down here at 3,187. If not, looking back down at this platinum pocket in 3,161. Those are those two areas I have my eye on for gold. We do see the NASDAQ getting that strong move to the upside on futures, looking to break back in to our fib retracement here. Might have to draw out a fib extension if we continue to see this move to the upside here. Get those nice targets. You do have the platinum pocket right above us at 17,460, which I'd really look for as a bit of some resistance here. You did see us close out this CME gap with this strong candle here on the 9th from last week before we really broke back down below our fib retracement. We didn't really touch on the 1618 below us, so that's still a point we could come back down to if we reject off of our platinum pocket here and see some strong money flow coming back out. You do have that 1 hour as well, looking like you might be a little bit toppy as we're trying to break back into our fib retracements. We do have your prime oscillator sitting light red though, so if we do see a quick switch of money flow here on the shorter term time frames, you could really get that push quite strongly back up to the platinum pocket. That's where that 15-minute also looking a little bit toppy here, but it's still getting that move to the upside as these oscillators are getting a cool off. Mantra steady, lads, all good. Yeah, I'm a little bit confused on that, how the team can be like, everything's fine. You know, we just saw a 90% decrease on the price of our project, but everything's good. You know, our tokens are still locked, so our tokenomics are still functioning like they should, but price is not. So definitely a little bit discouraging on that mantra. We do have the Russell also getting that move back to the upside here, trying to get back above our 382. We do have a CME gap right to the top side of us that we would look at doing some battle with. That 382 kind of resides in the middle of that. So let me get that drawn out for you so you can see it just a little bit better there. There we go. We've got your midline of that CME gap coming in right below that 382. So looking for a bit of a break to the upside on that. That'd be on the higher term time frames, as this 15-minute looks like it needs to see a little bit of a cool off there. Let's get that to the 4 hour, and this is where you can really see that the Russell 2000 looks like it might make that push back into our CME gap. We've got another strong CME gap to the top side of that one. Let's get that one drawn out too so you can see it as well. Looking for that break back towards this CME gap here. This is the first area we will do some battle before we try to get back up to this one, though. There is some strong selling pressure at $1,912 for the Russell 2000. This is that small stock. This is that small cap stocks. So looking like you might see a little bit of some risk on at the beginning of the week. There's no heavy data to really push us back. We do have in the middle of the week some retail sales month over month, and to close the week out, we've got building permit sales and housing starts. So nothing extremely heavy for this week's data. Looking like you might see the markets try to make a little money off of this volatility here. Let's zoom that on in. 15-minute looking like it needs to see a little bit of a cool off as we try to get up to the CME gap to the top side of us. 15-minute on that MACD looking like it needs to roll over just a little bit. Prime oscillator continue to the downside, but the True 7's still green, and your volume's just starting to pick up here as some buying volume. So a little bit of some risk on for the beginning of the week might be the move to watch for. Got Crypto Billy in the chat saying good morning, good morning. Hope you're having a great day so far, Crypto Billy. It's very early for me, and I know it's probably very early for you. So get that coffee in, and we'll take a look at ADA here in a second, because we had an ADA move that played out quite nicely from last week, and I wanted to tease that one. We got SMR, which I've been taking a look at. It is an energy stock on that nuclear side of things. I did talk about a platinum pocket bounce the other week, and looks like we got that strong platinum pocket bounce. Saw some rejection at the golden pocket there, looking to close it back to the upside above our highs that we saw before that platinum pocket bounce. So seeing a little bit of some strength here, trying to get back above that golden pocket. We got your hourly looking at very indecisive here on the prime oscillator. True 7 moving quite sideways. Volume starting to pick up here. You got your MACD looking to hit that cross of our indicator line to the top side. Those are printing some light green light red candles on our histogram. That hourly looking like you might see that push up for today back towards our golden pocket. 15-minute also sitting in that same position, looking for that money flow to continue back to the upside. Your prime oscillator sees a little bit of a divergence here on the 15-minute, and your volumes quite steady as some slow selling pressure here. So waiting for that money flow to really come back in, but already looking to open to the upside in the pre-market, just like a lot of these other stocks here. So looking for a bit of some upside on that. We did take a look at the Dixie last week, and we talked about a level we would like to see hold, but that we probably wouldn't end up holding, and we've broken below that. We got this on the weekly, so let's zoom that on in. Take a look at it on the daily here. Your daily does seem like it might see that last ditch push effort to try to get back above 116 there. Let's zoom that in and move it to the upside there. There you can see our MACD line is looking like you're going to see a continued move to the downside here. Trying to wait for some sideways momentum to come in here to try to hold price back up. You have that prime oscillator getting that light curvature and some oversold signals. We got a reversal signal that has not played out yet. Your divergence also has not really played out yet. We saw that move to the downside continue. Not too unexpected, as we saw all of the tariff news really keep that dollar battered down. We're looking to try to get a small little bounce off of that one rejection off of 116 all over again. Let's zoom that on in to our hourly, see what the day might be bringing our way here. And this is where you can really see prime oscillator has 3 reversal signals that have flashed here. 1, 2, and 3. Got a very strong divergence here as that prime oscillator has shifted from red to light red, and your volume just switched from selling volume to some buying volume here. True 7 looking back towards the upside here. Your MACD line just got a nice strong bounce off of it. Our indicator line on the bottom side of things, as we're printing some dark green candles here on the histogram. So looking to push back up to 116 before we really see that next rejection. Might see a little bit of some wicking action to the golden pocket and 162 on the Dixie before I'd really look for some more downside. Still looking quite ugly on the higher term time frames. We got K Diggity in the chat. Good morning to you, sir. Drop you some coffee cups. I know you're getting ready for work. Hope you're having a great morning so far. I am going to take a look at ADA. Is there any other alt requests anyone would like me to take a look at? I got about 20 minutes before I got to get ready to head out the door. We've got ADA making some nice ranging action as well. Let's zoom this on out to that 4 hour. Scroll it on down so you can see we got. Actually, let me zoom that on in to the hourly. Talk about that move from last week. We talked about seeing a bit of some price action, getting a rejection off of 62 cents and maintaining some of the lower side volumes here. We did talk about 58 cents being a strong point to see. I already deleted my line from down there. So we got that strong bounce off of 58 cents, got that move back to 62 cents, and I dropped that one in the Discord. So if you're not in the Discord, definitely should be. We do a lot in the Discord. Keeping y'all informed as the day goes on. We're looking to try to maintain 62 cents now that we are above it here. We do see our MACD and prime oscillators looking like they're going to be making a bit of a move to the upside here. Seeing some selling volume in this range, some negative momentum as we are approaching 62 cents all over again, making some lower highs and some lower lows, but got some strong support below us at 62 8. That'd be that first real bouncing point I would look for on the hourly. We do have your volume slowing down on that selling volume as your prime oscillators getting that curvature back to the upside. True 7 also looking like it's about to flip it back to the green here as well, as your MACD's looking to hit that cross of our indicator line on the bottom side, looking to print our first green candle here in the next hour or so. We do have the 15-minute also looking like it's been arranging, waiting for that strong break with money flow. You got your 15-minute with a reversal signal, switch from light red to red back to green here. So really need that strong money flow to come back in here. That's where 62 cents looks very strong all over again for a strong bounce to the upside. If you do get that strong bounce to the upside, there's plenty of resistance coming back here at 67 cents. Let's get that drawn out as a short-term horizontal ray there. There you go. That's going to be our resistance to the top side here. If you get that strong bouncing action off of 62 cents. We have Soul requested by RSan246. Let's get over to Solana. Looking at $130 to maintain all over again. You got that strong bounce off of our golden pocket on Solana. Let's scroll that on out to the 4-hour. I see Tesla requested it as well. We can definitely take a look at that. We got that strong move off of 106, which is a price target on Solana I had talked about for quite a while, folks. Kept talking about it and kept talking about it, and we finally got that action. I did say that there was also the potential to see 92.78. We came within $3, like less than $3 of that price target. So Solana getting that strong move back towards our golden pocket here. You're seeing the MACD and your prime oscillator at some very indecisive points here on the 4-hour. Would need to see a continuation of money flow coming on in as your volume maintains quite steady here. Looking for that true 7 to continue moving a little bit sideways and maintain this $130 price point. Let's zoom this on in, see what the 1 hour is looking like here. Let's zoom this on in so you can see that just a little bit clearer there. There we go. You got your MACD and your prime oscillator looking like they might need to see a little bit of a cool off here on the hourly. Looking a little bit sideways here with your indicator line on the MACD. Looking for a little bit of sideways momentum on top of 130 before we get that strong push back to the upside. Got your prime oscillator getting that cool off here on top of that $130. Your volumes trying to maintain as some light buying volume here, but you've got nice green money flow. So if you can maintain that 130, I'd look back to the upside. We've got some nice lows with some equal highs from here. Let's get that horizontal ray drawn out there. We've got some nice Wiccan action almost to the action there. That's a 135. That'd be that first little area I would look at for some resistance to the top side there from our highs and our lows from here. You do have a little bit of some ranging price action to the top side, which you could see 140 come into play for the top side target there, where we saw all of the resistance before we really dropped back down to the golden pocket. So 130 to about $140 is going to be a bit of a resistance zone to kind of push price back down. We'll kind of have to see how that all plays out for the day, see how risk on the markets are this morning. Let's hop over to our stocks tab and get over to Tesla, because Tesla did make a nice move back to the upside here. You saw us reject very strongly off of our golden pocket, make a CME gap on the midline of our old CME gap there. So gap and a gap. Let's get that one drawn out so you can kind of see it. This is more of a shorter term gap that would be very easy to get back above. This area that we are at right now is a bit of some resistance, but you've got your prime oscillator and your MACD looking like you might continue to the upside. You do also still have a very, very strong resistance line to the top side of us. That's arranging from December of last year. So a bit of some resistance to the upside. Let's hide this CME gap now. That's going to be the bottom side. 252, which we're at right now, is a bit of a resistance area. Let's hide that so you can see these short-term time frame CME gaps here. This is that next area I would really look to, as you do see your MACD and prime oscillator looking a little bit bullish here on the 4-hour. Got your MACD crossing our indicator line, printing some nice green candles here on the histogram. So waiting for the money flow to come back in here, which is very possible, as you are going to see that tariff exemption for semiconductors really affect Tesla for the next couple of months. So seeing that push back up to our resistance line would be that next thing I would really watch for. Going to see a bit of some resistance to the top side though. We do have that golden pocket coming in at 273.06. So waiting for our money flow to get back to the green here. Prime oscillator sitting green but moving sideways as your volume has slowed up here, and your true 7 clipped and is looking back to the upside on the 4-hour. Zoom that on into the hourly. This is where you can kind of see we're getting some sideways momentum as we broke above our indicator line on that MACD. So might see that 259.87 and the bottom side of this CME gap to the top side be a little bit of some resistance there. We are making higher lows here, so looking for some more top side price action as we wait on this money flow to start coming back in. True 7 get that curvature back to the upside. Volume slowing down quite a bit on that selling volume, so money flow is going to be the big thing to watch for as we see the week start off. Pre-market's already looking to come in and open above the top sides of the candles of this range, so might see that resistance point come into call here today. Got that 15-minute also looking like it's got a little bit of room to continue to the upside, but you're starting to see a little bit of sideways momentum here on your prime oscillator. Money flow looking to get that bounce off of our zero line. Your volumes starting to switch from red to light green here as you're seeing that true 7 head back to the upside as well. So looking for a bit of some resistance at that 260 before we really see some cool off on the higher term time frame and see that push back up towards our golden pocket. If we can get back above there, you do have some very strong resistance to the top side of that might come into play as well. Let me get that one marked out. That's from the bottom side of a small CME gap, and you saw all of that selling pressure there as well. So 284 would be that next resistance zone above our golden pocket that I would look for. Really waiting to see what kind of money flow comes in at the beginning of the week. Looking like you're going to see some risk on here at the beginning of the week. So something to keep in mind. I got time for one more request. I got Solana, Tesla, and ADA done for the morning. So first alt request dropped in the chat. We'll get looked at. I see Jesse Gluck in here. Good morning to you, sir. Hope you're having a great day so far. I know you're probably about to go eat some lunch here because it is 5:20 my time, so I know that's 11ish your time. So hope you've been having a great morning so far, taking advantage of some of that upside movement on the weekend. I know you were pretty busy in the chats this weekend, so it was nice to see you there. I'm not seeing any alt requests for now, so if someone does have one, go ahead and drop them in the chat. We do have OM. Oh, he's saying I just woke up, so Jesse, get some sleep. Oh, good job there, Jesse. We'll take a quick look at OM here, and then we'll wait for an alt request to see if that comes in. We do have a very strong fair value gap here. Let's get that on the 4 hour so you can see that much better. We got a very strong fair value gap. Let's make it purple so you know it's a fair value gap and not a CME gap there. There we go. The midline coming in at $3.56. Joel Vasquez says, always XRP for me. I will make sure I remember that in the future, sir. We can always take a look at XRP. I know XRP has been quite explosive and has diverged a bit sometimes. So looking for a bit of a push back into our fair value gap here. Looking to see if you can maintain some of the lows from way back here. Let's get that zoomed out to the daily look so you can look left to look right here. Zooming that on in. As you can see, OM does these strong moves sometimes. This one's just a little bit more worrisome as it was like a 90% dip. So looking to see if we can maintain lows from way back there. We've got 19 cents being a bit of a strong support area. If not, there's always strong support at 0. Just a joke. Don't actually take that into account there. All right, let's get this next line drawn out from the Wiccan action here. You've got $1.41 coming into play. You've also got a little bit of some action to the top side of that at about $1.63. So looking to try to break back into our fair value gap. You do have that daily looking heavily oversold. Not really seeing some reversal signals coming into play just yet. I would hold off on making any moves on OM. Not financial advice, but probably some smart advice. Wait for some bottoms to be found here before we really try to hop back in. You do see us showing some resistance at the bottom side of this fair value gap and 98 cents. Let's zoom this on in 2 to 15 minutes, see what the morning might be bringing our way here. Saw that bit of a rejection from this old area of resistance. So looking to try to bring some money flow back in here on OM. Looking like the 15 minutes going to see some continued selling pressure here as you are making lower highs and lower lows. Flagging out just a bit though. So if you do see that nice cool off, look for $1.41 all over again. Try to maintain the bottom side of that fair value gap at 98 cents and then try to continue back up to 161. That'd be something to watch for, but I'd hold off on any moves on that. That's just my 2 cents. We got XRP requested. We did talk about wanting to hold $2.10 here. That was a midline of an old fair value gap. Got that strong bounce off of it. Oh, I'm not sure what happened there. Oh, switched the asset to BNB. That's not what we want. There we go. Got that strong bounce off of that $2.10 here in the morning. Looking to maintain the midline of our fair value gap. Holding to the upside quite nicely. Got that break above it before we really dragged back down to the midline and $2.10 before we made another push back to the upside. Let's zoom this on out to that 4 hour, see what we'd be looking at for the beginning of the week here. Might see a little bit of some cool off, but we're doing it with some sideways momentum here. Got your prime oscillator and MACD both moving sideways, printing some light red candles here on the histogram. Got your True 7 ready to clip here as your volume is holding quite steady as some buying volume. So might see that strong move back to the upside on XRP with that 3 $2.29 being the very strong resistance point to kind of watch for. That's going to be our next area I would kind of watch at, because that's that 382 on our fib retracement. We'll need to get above this fair value gap, as you see all of this selling pressure at the top side of it. Looking back here at all these wicks and the wicks right here as well, kind of pushing price down, indicating a lot of selling volume. So let's get that drawn out there with the top side. Oh, comes in right at that other wick as well. Nice confluence across on those wicks. Got $2.24 being a bit of a resistance area above that fair value gap. So if we can push back up, see a little bit of some cool off here on the prime oscillator here on that 4 hour, before we really see that strong bounce off of 210 and push back to the upside. Let's see what that hourly is looking like there. Seeing a little bit of some positive on the MACD and your prime oscillator here. Prime oscillator looking like it needs to see a little bit more cool off on the 1 hour before you really see that strong continuation. You've got your prime oscillator sitting green, but it's doing so quite sideways, as we never clipped out on this true 7, so might need to see that little bit of a push back down to 210 before you really see that strong move to the top side of our fair value gap. Got a little bit of some width from our indicator line here on your MACD, as we're starting to print some higher lows here on your histogram, waiting for that strong switch back to the green, as we do see some resistance right to the top side at $2.15. There's a bit of some sell pressure at the top side of our old fair value gap. Zoom this on in. 15 minute also looking like you're seeing a bit of some sideways ranging action. That's where I'd want to get above $2.15. Might see that being a bit of a resistance area for the short term before we really push back to 210, get that strong move back up to $2.18 there, which is the top side of our fair value gap. Seeing a strong resistance at 224. So if you do see crazy money flow coming in after our true 7 clipped here and our reversal signal came into play, waiting on that true 7 to really switch back to green. Got that nice switch to green here before we really see all of that sell pressure at $2.15. So looking to get above that, turn it as some support. We've got your MACD moving quite sideways here, so it might be just cooling off those higher term time oscillators. See J Violet coming in right at the end of things. I hope you had a great day. We've got Joel Vasquez saying XRP, XLM, XLR, Plume, R3, and Algo, in my opinion, will run the financial system. I know they do very great jobs at moving money around, so I'll have to dive into some of those other ones. I haven't heard a bunch, but I know XRP and Link have a nice partnership on XRP's stable token, and they've got a partnership with Swift, so that might be the crypto world's fiat system of moving money around. Got those tokens have integrated themselves deep in the financial world. Also, Ripple's patents are being used by all those tokens as well. Might have to do a bit of a dive into that. Let's see. Let me see if I can write all those down real quick before we end the show. We got XRP, XLM, XLR, Plume, and R3 and Algo. R3 Algo. I'll take a look at those and see what I can find on that, because that sounds quite interesting. I love real world use case tokens, so I'll do some diving into that, and maybe have a little bit of a special on that. I know XRP does some good work. I might not be a big fan of it, but that's neither here nor there. They've got very nice use case. Got K Diggity saying good morning to J Violet. Jay Violet saying good evening. Hope you're getting it. Hope you're had a great day and a great weekend, everyone. It might be a bit of a volatile week as we did see a bit of some tariff news, some pause on some tariff news, waiting to see how things really play out for the future. We do have no data to start out the week, so watch for those market makers to kind of grab some top side liquidity before we see a bit of some cool off on the oscillators. Appreciate every single one of you for showing up. Make sure to tune into the rest of the shows on the Piper Academy. We've got that morning market report at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We've got Trading with OC at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and Markets After Dark with Lunar Beaches Crypto at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. I will see y'all at the morning motivational video here in about an hour, and then at Alex O Crypto at 7. Other than that, make sure to wake up because today is going to be a good day.